Where is hell? Hell is in a different dimension. Now, many people believe that hell is at the center of the earth, and this can very well be an accurate understanding insofar as where hell is, based upon the perceptibility of our understanding in our three dimension space time continuum. Now, what we mean by all of this is that we know that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of the air. Well, where are the rulers of the air? Where are the principalities? Where are the demons and unclean spirits? They're actually everywhere around us. However, we can't see them, but they are still operating within our three-dimensional space-time continuum. However, the spiritual dimension exists outside of our dimension to the standpoint that things are happening on a spiritual basis that we can't discern. Even if we can discern, we don't most people can't see what's actually happening. And so if we take this understanding, it's the same as if we were to draw a stick figure on a piece of paper. That's a two-dimensional world, but we're in a three-dimensional world. So when we take a step back and speak to the stick figure may be able to hear us, but he will never be able to see us because we're just in a different dimension. And so it is with the spiritual plane, spiritual dimension. So when we understand this reality, we come to understand that hell is, in fact, in a different dimension. Now, where exactly is that? Well, we know that the lake of fire, which is the second death, where Hades and death will be thrown into and all unrepentant sinners over all the ages, that will be cast wholly into a new dimension. Beyond in a dimension that we can't even fathom or understand. It's not even going to dwell within, the new heaven or earth somewhere. It's just we can't see it. It is literally God is putting it into an entire different realm and dimension altogether. But hell right now is in a different dimension. And where exactly is that? Well, Scripture speaks many times of the pit. And where the dead will go to Sheol. Sheol is the place where the dead reside. However, there are different places for Sheol. Sheol is just the resting place of the dead. Abraham's bosom and paradise refers to heaven. Hades refers to hell, and the pit as well. And so we can come to a rational consensus that hell is at the center of the earth, not literally in the sense of that people's souls are literally in the center of the earth right now, but the spiritual dimension of hell resides within the center of the earth. The center of the earth is supposedly the hottest place, obviously, on our earth. And so, from a spiritual dimension, it's very feasible that the spiritual dimension right now is residing in the center of the earth. Because just as people can have, unclean spirits, we see Jesus say, speak to Legion and sends them out to the swine. Well, Legion back then referred to 2,000. So clearly, someone's body can harbor 2,000 demons and unclean spirits. That's a lot. And so, obviously, hell is packed full. We know wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. We know that there are many people in hell, unfortunately, who are there right now, but their bodies are not there. Their soul is. So, from a spiritual dimensional standpoint, it's very feasible that hell on the spiritual level is at the center of the earth, and all the souls there are dwelling because there's no amount of souls that can take up a certain amount of room within something. Just as we see 2,000 demons are inside of a man in that gospel story, so it can happen with other people. People can have more demons than that even. But if that many demons can reside within a body, then obviously an immense amount of souls can reside in hell without their occupying and taking up space. So where is hell? Hell is in a spiritual dimension, different dimension altogether, but that spiritual dimension coincides and resides within hell. And just as we can understand that maybe our finger touches the stick figure on the paper, but he can feel our touch, but he can't see it, likewise is it with the spiritual dimension of hell. The spiritual dimension of hell is in the center of the earth without us being able to necessarily perceive and understand it. Now, I know there's a video out there where there were screams and yells from people overseas some years ago drilling, and then they heard screams and yells of hell. That very well could be, as we sometimes can hear and see things in the spiritual realm that we don't know, or maybe sometimes that God does reveal. There are certain testimonies of that, and God still speaks in that way. But as far as understanding where hell is, ultimately it's in a different spiritual dimension altogether, but that spiritual dimension can be tied, and it in some sense makes sense, to the center of the world. We're not taking that literally, that souls are literally in the center of the earth right now, because they would need a body in order to literally be there. But from a spiritual dimension standpoint, that spiritual dimension of hell is in the center of the earth.